Hello, Brian here, quantlabsnet.com. Today is September 16. This is a two-part, call it little mini series of two videos. The first one's on technical. The other one is regarding quant trading strategies when it comes to Bitcoin. So these are the lessons learned when it comes to building uh, AI code generated uh, with the Windsurf and two major IDEs out there for C++. I'll talk about Visual Code, Visual Studio 22, and this one that I've been working with for a while now, about a week, the CLion from JetBrains. Okay, so let's first talk about the project. The project actually ran. This was a complete nightmare project to put together. Not because of the AI capabilities, it's because I would say the nightmare was sponsored by Microsoft. So what we have here is standard C++ code here. We have the debug version, the release version. We also have CMake files, CPP or C++ and header files as well, standard read doc as well. And this comes from a very, very revealing set of uh, posts that I put up on my membership, and it reveals the call it secret sauce of how Bitcoin is traded, how it impacts the retail market, as well as more of the financial advisors as well. But I'll go over that in a separate video. It's quite a bit. Anyway, so what I did was I took those uh, prompts or the results of the prompting, which took quite a while in itself, fed it back into an AI, DeepSeek. I also did it with Qwen Coder as well. And we had challenges there. And I finally got it working uh, with a GUI, graphical user interface. That was another challenge in itself. I could go on and on about it. So I'll first run it. It's probably the easiest way to get around this. Um, so let's see here. Okay, so hopefully I can get this running. Let's see. Okay, it should get released, or maybe I know what's going on. It's gonna find here. Here's the app. Okay, let me relaunch it. Okay, so this is running in Windows. This is a Windows GUI interface. To get to this point took quite a while. So this is again using high frequency trading in mind, but as I've iterated through it, it got more and more watered down. I'm not sure how close it is to the original modeling code for quant. Um, and I will say, if you're going to do this, keep everything in a CLI application, meaning command line interface. It's just easier when you try to add on a GUI. It really complicates the coding. I think it's going to make the coding a lot more inefficient, not performance based as well. Depending upon your GUI framework, you might be forced to stay in the Windows world versus Linux. Um, so in this case, this is GDI plus. I'll talk about that evolution in a minute. So here's the standard app, and this is only trading Bitcoin, assuming Bitcoin options futures, setting up a bunch of strategies, and it's going to watch the order book here. It's on close to real time as possible. So you could see here, this is mimicking. It's all simulated data. But what it's supposed to be doing is branching out, watching the spread, bid and ask spread in Bitcoin because it's traded quite heavily. We have a mid price, the spread price. We also have here the return as it trades. This price is obviously fake. We have a standard P&L as it trades, and it's trading right now. We have here overall return, Sharpe, since I started this. We have our positions in Bitcoin, win ratio, and a value at risk, which are standard metrics that I ask for these type of environments. We also have the ability to calculate our fill, our speed of the execution on the orders, the cost, and the overall number of trades here. So you can see here we've got up to 118, 119 building on that model that was asked for in the uh, in the original AI. This is about probably a 12-hour process from the strategy building to getting to this point. So here you got the stop trading, the pausing. This is just better to be done in a Python interface or JavaScript interface, but this is 100% in C++. Now, so we've got through that. So what we're looking at here, this is CLion, as I said. These are all the different um, various files here. So we have the GUI components, the main looping. I'll show you the README, Markdown, rendering, trading engine, the header for that, and the window procedure as well. So these are specifically for Windows, obviously the operating system. So here, I'll show you the README file. So here what we're dealing with just took a long time to get to this point. Let me explain how it worked. I introduced a few videos ago the CLion with Windsurf for the AI panel, the panel that you work with the Windsurf Cascade interface. It works with all the popular LLMs, including the DeepSeek and latest on Qwen Coder. One thing I'll mention is if you're going to use AI to build out a particular trading system, especially when it comes to high frequency trading system, I think Qwen or DeepSeek are fine to work with to build out the code base. As the project evolves, you'll notice that you're trying to correct the application as it builds and gets bigger, as I showed you. You're better off to work with a more advanced model or LLM like a Claude 4, at least to eliminate a lot of the problems with your debugging, because you're debugging, you just go down rabbit holes and just circles around. You could waste a lot of time and hours on that. So it's fine if you have a strategy document, as I've shown in my executive summaries for strategies and the exact, well, now I'm using secret sauce stuff. Those are fine. And then have the DeepSeek or the Qwen scan it and then build out a C++ coding project or whatever it is, Python, whatever. That's fine. So this is what was generated. So what we got here that I've asked for, real-time P&L visualization, order book depth visualization, trading metric dashboard, execution quality analysis, and institutional trading metrics. Those are the major parts. So we've got the build, we've got how to use it. These are all the different components here. So we've got our core trading UI components. Now, let me talk about this part and why it took so long to get to this point. If you're on Windows, I'm going to be honest, I prefer to do Linux development now with what I've been through when it comes to the Microsoft stack, be it on VS Code or Visual Studio, in this case 2022. There's a 2025 coming out soon. Um, you have to stay with 100% in, let's say, the Microsoft technology stack. In this case, with C++ and adding in the GUI, be it in WinUI or the Win32 API, 64-bit API, whatever. It's just I'm going to be honest, it's a complete nightmare to build out, especially if you're dealing with something like CLion. Part of the thing with CLion, which can be very beyond frustrating, that I've discovered. I think the only weakness that I've seen here is under the settings, under the tools here. You'll see, uh, actually, I had it right here. So here we have two choices being on Windows. We have Min GW, the tool set, or the tool chain or the Visual Studio. Um, One of the big weaknesses I'm finding with CLion is when you only have MinGW available, which is basically mimicking all the compiler tool set on Linux, UCC, G++, and being on Windows. For whatever reason, it doesn't stick. So if you uh, run it today using MingW will be fine. When you reset, relaunch CLion, sometimes it doesn't stick, and it just becomes a real problem when you're running the AI and it's trying to look for the underlying compiler and linker. It can't. That's just my experience, but I have not seen that problem with the Visual Studio community being the CL. Um, okay, it's a couple things to learn about the CL. If you're on Windows, you're better off to use the CL. The one thing I don't like about the Microsoft is when you want to run CL, let's say if you're running Ubuntu Linux or a desktop Debian, whatever Linux, you can just do an apt get, use the package manager, install the essential toolkit, and that's it. That's all you need to worry about. And then if you have CLion running on top of that desktop environment in Linux, right away CLion will run, will not give you any configuration problems, but if you're doing the same equivalent in Windows, it just seems to be a problem. Um, so in order to run Visual Studio CL or the MSVC, the compiler for Microsoft Windows Visual C, you, as far as I know, the only way to install it is through having the a minimal VS Code or Visual Studio Community Edition. Um, I am not good old Microsoft documentation and the over engineered, bloated, pretty well crash bin that it is. Um, you really got to go on an Easter egg hunt to find what you want, which I just gave up on. So maybe there is a way to install CL only on an environment without the need of VS Code or Visual Studio. I don't know. I couldn't find it. I'm gonna be lazy, so over time with the Min GW, I went with sadly the Visual Studio community, um, and that was a real SOB as far as I'm concerned because you're taking up 4 to 5 gig on your drive just to run CL. And from my perspective, there was a day I used to love everything coming out of Visual Studio, probably till I don't know 18 version 2018 or going back about 6 7 years before they brought out the VS Code, which really tried to work with, but to me it's just not very intuitive. As I said in other videos, I like the menuing system in these things, which CLion has and a lot of the JetBrains has as well. Just that's how I am as a person, just a preference, I guess. So, anyways, once you get the CL running, as you can see here, which is the compiler and the linker built in, which is not the same in Linux or MinGW, you have the separate compiler, C, G++, or and the linker. Um, so yeah, it's just on Windows, it seems to be better with the CL outside that you have to install Visual Studio to get it running. I don't know. Maybe I'm lazy. Maybe I'm too. I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. But we got it running. So once you're able to build properly, you got things running. The next point is what framework do you want to go with for the graphical user interface? There are just so many over the last number of years with Microsoft. This one, it's too old. Okay, there's this one. Well, it's gone open source. That one's been abandoned. There's just all of these beyond confusing graphical user interfaces from Microsoft, and just going through that hours wasted trying to get that running. Um, it was just a complete waste of time. So I just using Windsurf on on CLion, I just let the AI say, I'll pick this one. So it did. It went with an older GDI plus, uh, GDI plus plus framework that goes back way back, but it got running no problem. One thing I'll also mention about Microsoft when it comes to Visual Studio VS Code, it does not like Windsurf at all. Um, I couldn't install it properly. When I look at the reviews, it gets ripped apart for whatever reason. From my standpoint, that's a competitive thing for Microsoft because now you're using a competitive product to Copilot, which is way past. It's so dated. It's so I've tried to work with Copilot. I find it really useless. It's working with Windsurf, which is much better. That's an OpenAI project. So that's somewhat a competitor to Visual Studio because that revenue would go to Windsurf if you go on the paid subscription. So that's now a threat to Microsoft. So my past over the last 20, 20, 30, probably 30 plus years, Microsoft's well known for doing all this kind of what we call bastardization on their products when other so-called competitive products should be able to be easily working with it. I've shown in my last video, I've got it working beautifully with CLion. So the product, the windsurf itself is fine. Okay. It's fine. The problem is trying to get it in working in the Microsoft IDE, be it Visual Studio or VS Code. I don't know. It's bad reviews because of it. But as I said, I got it running really nicely in the in this version here under right here. All this is windsurf right here. So there's that. Okay, so let's go back to the README. That's all the technical mumbo jumbo stuff. So people learn and just don't go down these paths. If you're, from my opinion, I'd stick with the JetBrains IDEs. They work well. They're much better than they used to be. Throw in the Windsurf plugin as well. It's a really nice product. You get access to all of the latest, not the most advanced LLMs, but if you're willing to pay for the more better ones like the Claude, um, yeah, it's a good experience to use that and the better path. And again, that's you can run on pretty well anything you want when it um, comes to Linux or Mac OS or Windows as well. So there's that advantage. So these are the things that have been very frustrating. So you can see here some of the requirements to get this running. It will say Visual Studio probably would run with the Min GW tool set or tool chain. Um, and it's got the CMake file already added and the GDI plus libraries for the interface. So yeah, it seems to run okay. But in terms of the coding of the HFT, obviously you don't want to have a interface, a graphical user interface attached to it. You don't want to. You want to keep the code minimal as possible. Right now, I'm still aiming to use only standard template library along with everything in one header or C++ for maintainability, even though it'll be a monster file of like a couple thousand lines if you really want to go crazy on that. Once you start to break it out into these separate components, I think that can somewhat complicate the carryover between the OSs and the IDEs as well. But just generally from the technical, that's how it's been. Looks like it's working. I just wanted to showcase that. I just wanted to document the experiences so far of the different IDEs out there for Microsoft, or in this case, the JetBrains, and using something like Windsurf, the AI code generator, as well for that, which is quite good. As I said here, you've got access to all the big models here, GPT-5, Claude, Gemini, and the DeepSeek and the Qwen as well. And this other one that's free, the SWE1. I wouldn't recommend that one at all, but I think you gotta spend some money as well to get some better coding quality. And specifically, if you want to waste your time on the debugging, runtime, or compile or building, yeah, go with the Chinese ones, the DeepSeek and the Qwen. They just seem to put you through this big circular loop, and you just can't break out of it. But when you use the Claude, which is pretty well the most advanced one for it, for again both the compile, build, and runtime, it's quite excellent at detecting problems even on a runtime, and you can resolve your issue within minutes because Claude is so advanced at finding a lot of the runtime problems as well. Other than that, Thanks for watching. And let me just get you over to the website here at quantlabsnet.com. And then just go into the right here, the email of Learn. If you want to get your free C++ high frequency trading ebook for what the shops use. But now I'm now pushing out my booking. If you want to talk 15 minutes to go over your experience as a trader, non-technical included. You want to get in this space as well. Yeah, I've got this booking page as well for basically almost no more than $1 a minute. Anyways, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching and have a good one.